Welcome to the meeting of the Building and Ground Planning and Development Committee. We want to go ahead and start promptly. We have several items and we don't want to run out of time. First item on the agenda is a 2120 Elm Grove Middle HVAC replacement request for authorization to bid. Ms. Douglas, Mr. Norwood, would you like to share your information with us?
Yes, sir. As you'll recall, when we got authorization to bid the air conditioning replacement for Green Acres Middle, you asked us to go back and bring back to you at the next meeting Elm Grove Middle School, which is a very similar school, similar age, similar situation. This is funded by the bond premium from the 2012 bond construction program. I have on the screen a recap of the two projects to show that the opinion of cost in that middle column has about a 10% contingency built in by the engineer, and we have about 2% contingency above that. And so we believe that everything is in order, and tonight we're asking for authorization to bid that project immediately for summer construction.
Members of the committee, you've heard Mr. Norwood's presentation. Are there any questions? If not, do I hear a motion?
So moved, Mr. President.
Motion by Mr. Wiggins, a second by Ms. Brotherton. All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion passes. Item 2, a request for a parent drive canopy at Benton Elementary, and this will be presented by Mr. Rozier.
Thank you. Good evening. We were working with the Bossier Parish Police Jury this week with taking traffic off of 162 due to a bridge outage, and they would like to double stack traffic on the parent drive. So they're going to one-way that and double stack it. In that discussion, we were looking at double stacking the parent drop off in the back, and it has a median divider that could use a canopy to help with facilitating that drop off for that. We think that this is going to be a permanent construction direction for traffic flow for now on. They're actually restriking the road with the parish owns and everything. So the parish is putting in restriking, signage, and repaving to the other part of that Roby Drive, and the school is looking to see if we can get some help with a canopy to help with unloading those children on the parent drive there. That cost is $9,235 for that canopy. Yes, sir, Mr. Davis.
How long is the canopy? I mean, it's just approximately.
It approximately probably 60 feet, 75 feet.
You know, compared to the plain dealing, this is an excellent price. I don't know, is it?
Plain Dealings was 200 something feet, I believe. So it's
Okay.
a lot longer, and it's just logistics. It's a smaller one. It's not as wide. Different things.
Mr.
What's the predicted time frame for that bridge to be out?
Mr. Ford with the police jury said that it was looking at 18 months of construction. In discussions with them and the principal, even after we get the parents used to this type of drop off, we'll probably continue that past that construction. Just make it a permanent, seeing how all the roads will be completely changed to one way and signage and striping.
Yes, ma'am.
President, has the drainage benefits right there? Because I know there was a problem where when it rained or when you couldn't even get over that area, but you only had to use the one side, like way up to the.
Yes, they're going to work on getting that drainage. There's like a big pothole right beside that old asphalt. They're going to work on all that next week. They're going to have it completely repaved, and they're going to try to pull that drain back off to get that water off of there. I don't have the complete detail of what they're doing. They were but I did hear that discussion with police jury.
So the area that you're talking about that is state maintained is the area that is west of that concrete curve, I guess, that last section of, I think that's a kindergarten building, but I could be wrong, that turns north and then empties into 162?
Yes, sir. Actually, the police jury owns everything to the west and the east of that parent concrete, all the way around. But they're gonna redo everything to the west it was originally closed and abandoned. People were still using it, but the parish basically abandoned it. So they're gonna redo that paving there, and they're gonna do some patchwork on the other part, on the east side.
Any other questions for Mr. Rozier, any comments? Thank you, Mr. Rozier. It has been recommended that we approve this construction. Do I hear a motion? Motion by Mr. Dean. Second by Ms. Brotherton. All in favor, please vote. It's unanimous. Takes us to our third item on the agenda, dealing with the small cell tower proposed for construction on property at Central Park Elementary. Mr. Norwood, you're up again.
Yes, sir, thank you. You may recall last year, the board authorized a small cell tower at Curtis Elementary and a small cell tower at Parkway. The rate of rental on that is $1,500 per year. There is an inflation factor that's applied every 5th year, and so the total revenue on this 25-year lease for one of these three is about $47,000. We've already executed the first two, and now they've identified the third location. These are actually going in all over town, but they're not really obtrusive. I'll show you what one looks like at the boardwalk. Looks like a light pole there. And we've got, with the principal is younger, to identify the best location on the frontage for that. And this will be a fairly routine, review through the NPC and the City of Bossier City. And so we're asking you for permission to enter into an agreement with AT&T and their agent for this small cell phone tower at Central Park.
Heard Mr. Norwood's presentation. Is there any questions? Mr. Wiggins.
Mr. Norwood, how are we compensated, annually or monthly or what?
It's $1,500 annually to start off with, $1,500 up front, and then $1,500 yearly after that, and then there's an inflation factor of 2% every 5th year or so.
Thank you, sir.
Ms. Brother.
Mr. Norwood, where is that money going? Is that going to general fund?
It goes in general fund.
Mr. Bass.
Has there been any discussion in the past about, I know that goes into the general fund, but that money possibly going back to help Central Park in any way? Has there been any discussion?
There has been discussion of that, yes.
Okay.
Ms. Brother.
I'll make a motion.
Motion from Ms. Brotherton to approve the installation of the small cell tower at Central Park Elementary. Do I hear a second?
I second, Mr. Chairman.
Second by Mr. Wiggins. All in favor, please vote. It's unanimous. Now we come to our highly anticipated 2012 bond construction update from Mr. Clarence Babineau. Welcome, Mr. Babineau.
Good evening, everyone. Good to be back with you again. Everyone is surviving the snowstorm and everything else that's come along our way. Showing some 10 smiles on, so we're in good shape. First slide, please, Mr. Norwood. We'll start with the bond program balances. These numbers have been showing you every month. The numbers are very steady, except for the top line, which is Taunton High School classroom money. That number has been reduced by about $2,150,000 that the board authorized for other projects at Taunton High School, namely some field lighting and drainage improvement projects. All right. Next item, that intermediate, that surplus is steady at 412. Hilton Middle at 20,000 for a total of $1,747,000. There's still the unspent balance on the future project for Parkway High School of $2,405,000, and then the 10 projects below that, all the surpluses for completed projects totaling $1,440,000 for total unspent balances of just under $8.5 million. Any question on that slide? All right, next slide, please. Update on Benton Intermediate with a budget of $3.5 million. All the costs to date were just under $3.1 million, giving us a surplus of $412,000. On the bottom, you'll see the current construction schedule. This is with rain days added and snow days and such. It's about a 13-month schedule. The contractor is pushing to complete 12 months. You'll see the green line on the right side of the large black bar. Right now, he said it to be finished the second week of August, or right at the beginning of the next school year.
What are the chances he will have it at a stage that would be acceptable and appropriate for us to begin utilizing at least a portion of those classrooms?
We've been having some discussions. He will entertain that idea in more detail. He wants to get the building on the dry first. That way he has no impediments rain-wise for the interior work. So in about a month we can have that discussion with him. He understands that there's a need to push it. And they'll do what they can. The local conference very cooperative and been working with that campus already. So we'll know more maybe in a month or two what we can tell you on that, but that's in the works already. Okay. You have any questions on that slide? Next slide, please. A couple of photos. This is from last few days. The upper left, that's actually a view of the corridor, concrete block walls, and then the cement plank ceiling above that. Lower left is an overhead view of the restrooms going in, and the view to the right is an overall view of the building with the sheathing, yellow sheathing on the exterior studs, and you can see at the top of the photo where the roof trusses are being installed. So those will be up probably another week and a half or two for the rest of the main trusses to be put in place. Anything else, or any other questions on that intermediate? All right, next slide, please. Co-middle, in fact, we had a project meeting today with the contractor. That's a total project budget of $2,200,000 with a total project cost today of almost $180,000 with the current surplus right at $20,000. That's known as held steady for quite a few months. The bottom schedule, the green line is where he plans to be finished. He's actually in pretty good shape right now. That's a 12-month project. It will take him the full 12 months, but that means he'll be finishing the second week of June. So about 6-7 weeks before the beginning of school. So we'll be plenty of room to move in, get technology organized, that sort of thing. And really except for a little bit of site work, which is primarily grading and some sidewalks, the weather should not be an issue for him for the most part. All right, any questions? Next slide. Overall, if you start June 15th, you'll be finished right at June 15th of this coming year. All the block walls complete, the roof is complete except for the parapet caps. The interior work has not been hampered by weather. He's got his ceiling grids installed, his lights are nearly installed right now. Air conditioning work is installed, they're wiring right now. Windows installed, exterior doors are installed. He primarily has finishes such as ceiling tiles, flooring, door hardware, mark boards, that sort of thing. The winter start did slow them up, but the masons, 4 masons were added to the crew, and they're about 75% complete as of today. And again, he is on time and on schedule for mid-June completion. Any questions? Next slide. A couple of photos. The top left is from yesterday. The masons have just got completed on that corner of the building. If you look at the slide below, 3 months prior in December, that's what the building looked like just 3 months ago. And if you look through the windows, you'll see some light areas. That's because there was no roof in the building. It was just the exterior walls. So in 3 months, they've made an incredible amount of headway. The photograph on the right is the interior corridor with the garnished block walls, the ceiling grid, and even the lights have been installed and are working. So they're making great progress right now. Any questions on the code? All right, next slide, please. On, we've got a project budget of just under $16.8 million. The wing has a project budget of right at $14 million with a total cost made of $12,718,000 with a surplus of $1.3 million. The paving project was approved by the board of $951,000 and the field lighting for $1,020,000. And then the ball field net was recently approved at $12,607. On the schedule bar on the bottom, you go toward the right, you see the green bar is showing a contractor's completion of mid-March. He actually has a little bit more time than that to be 100% complete. They were hampered by some weather. But I heard yesterday that they just about doubled the crews and slotted the steel. I'll show you that in the photographs that come up. So they're doing what they can to make that time. All right, next slide, please. Overall, completion is on time. The steel erection was hampered by the storm. They actually lost an entire week because of that. Like I said, they added, they had, I think, 8 staff working on the erection last week. They've now got 14. They're working an average of 50 hours a week, so they're already working overtime schedule on that. All the classroom columns and beams will be erected by tomorrow. They'll just be column beams for the admin building. And then the overall steel erection should be pretty much complete by the end of this month. That'll put them pretty much back on track as far as the steel construction. And then overall, he's in pretty good shape. And then after that, what's next coming up are the concrete block walls, the slabs for the second floor, roofing, mechanical, electrical, roughing. All right. Next slide, please. A couple of photos. These are from yesterday. Upper left is the steel stacked for the admin building. Looking at the admin slab. And the photograph on the lower right is the steel being erected for the classroom wing. They just maybe 4 or 5 more columns to be added as of that photograph to finish the columns on the classroom wing and the beams. And then coming back to the far right of that photograph, you'll see the light areas. Those are all the steel corner joists for the roof and the flooring. After that will be the deck, and then go ahead and put their slab on top of that. So they're making some pretty decent progress because we've had some pretty dry weather lately, and they're doing their best to make the most of it. That concludes my report. All very good questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Babbitt. Is there any other business, any other items that we need to consider? I did fail to mention one thing. One of our members, Mr. Eric Newman, is not with us today due to the passing of his father-in-law. And so I'll keep him in our prayers. If there's no other business, this meeting stands adjourned.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.